Hello, everyone. As we get closer to Shabbos, I thought it would be a good time to ask ourselves a very simple question. Is Shabbos a Jewish thing or a universal thing? Namely, is Shabbos a day in which we come along and say the Jewish people, and only the Jewish people, celebrate this day, as is the situation on the Yom Tovim? Or no, actually it's different from the holidays, because the first Shabbos that we read about in the Torah, the way we start Kiddush Friday night with Vayechulu, is taken from the book of Bereshit, and it wasn't talking about the Jewish people yet. It was talking about Adam and Eve, and namely humanity. So a Shabbos, to put it bluntly, Zecher leMaaseh Bereshit, or is Shabbos Zecher leYetziat Mitzrayim? Is Shabbos to remember that God created the world for all of humanity? Or is Shabbos a day in which we ultimately remember that we got out of Egypt? So it's interesting that if you would ask me in the middle of the night, my answer would of course be, it's Zecher leMaaseh Bereshis. Shabbos is the seventh day of the week, that God rested. That's been the case since he created the world. That had nothing to do with the Jewish people, and therefore, from this perspective, indeed, that's what Shabbos is all about. However, the Gemara says explicitly that one has to mention the Yetziat Mitzrayim, the emergence from Egypt, in the Kiddush. Namely, Shabbos is not just about the world at large, it's also about the Jewish people. And indeed, in the two places in the Torah that we have the Ten Commandments, one talks about the fact that God rested on the seventh day. Many people say it as the Kiddush on Shabbos morning. And the other, in Sefer Devarim, in Parshat Va'etchanan, talks about Shabbos not as a Zecher leMaaseh Bereshis, but that because, and I quote, V'zacharta ki evet hayita be'eretz Mitzrayim, v'yivtecha Hashem Elokecha misham, that God took you out of Egypt, and because he took you out of Egypt, that's the reason why we keep Shabbos. So to make a long story short, it seems like Shabbos is both. On the one hand, we remember that God created the world and rested on the seventh day, and we start the Kiddush with Vayechulu. On the other hand, it's also a very Jewish thing. Indeed, on Friday night, if you look at davening, we'd say, Ata kidashta et Yom HaShvi'i, you sanctified the seventh day, God, it had nothing to do with us. Vayechulu hashamayim ve'ha'aretz. Indeed, on that famous first Shabbos, you stopped creating the world on Friday night into the Shabbos. But the Jewish people, in their healthy intuition, said, we can't leave it that way. And therefore, we added V'shamru v'nei Yisrael at the Shabbos, in between Hashkivenu to the half Kaddish Friday night. Indeed, we're both part of the world at large, but we also have a unique V'shamru v'nei Yisrael at the Shabbat. And the same thing is true in Kiddush. We start with a very global statement of Vayechulu hashamayim ve'ha'aretz, and then we transition into the Jewish people. We say, Asher kidishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodshecha ba'avar v'ratzon hinchaltanu. Namely, you've given us the Shabbos. Once again we say, Zikaron leMaaseh Bereshit, but then we also say, Zecher leYetziat Mitzrayim. So as we could see in the Kiddush, both are there. Both the global, Zecher leMaaseh Bereshit, and the particular, Zecher leYetziat Mitzrayim. And if you have to be a little more pedantic, I would say that the general idea of resting once a week, everyone agrees with. But the intricacies of Shabbos, how to make a cup of tea, how to take out food from a pot, that's already a Jewish thing. If we take this a step further, I believe that this is not just true on Shabbos, this is true throughout our davening. If you look at the blessings before Shema, the first one in the morning and in the evening talks about God that created the world at large. The heavens, the earth, the stars, and whatnot. On the other hand, we have the second blessing that talks about Ahava Rabbah Avtanu, God has a special love for the Jewish people, or Ahavat Olam, an eternal love, and we end that bracha with Habocher ba'amo Yisrael be'ahava, you have chosen the Jewish people with love. Every Jew has to have on two hats, a universal hat and a Jewish hat. And that's precisely the way that Avraham Avinu goes ahead and introduces himself this week to the Bnei Chet. Ger v'toshav anochi imachem. I am a resident like you, but I'm also a stranger. I'm a resident like you, I pay taxes like you. If there's a cure for cancer tomorrow, I'll be as happy about it as anyone else. But at the same time, I'm a special Jew, I'm a stranger. If the prices of kosher meat happens to go down, I'm the only one that's going to be happy. So on Shabbos, especially on Friday night, in our Kiddush, we say both. We are part of the world, Zecher L'Maaseh Bereshit, but we're also a special Jewish people, Zecher L'Yetziat Mitzrayim. We dare not forget that we're part of the world at large, but we also dare not forget that we're part of the Jewish people. And if we're able to combine both Zecher L'Maaseh Bereshit and Zecher L'Yetziat Mitzrayim, then we are fully living in this world up to our potential, both as human beings and as Jews.
Shabbos